Hello, good morning. Thanks for watching. Elise makes a bunch of videos. Today I just want to talk a bit about freedom camping in New Zealand. So when I first arrived in New Zealand about a year ago almost, not quite yet, there was a lot of news about how some of these different freedom camping spots are being more highly monitored and regulated in terms of who is allowed to camp there. So basically, freedom camping is just any free camping area within New Zealand where you don't have to pay. Some of them are just like a vacant lot, and some of them have toilets. A lot of the toilets shut at night, so they're only available in the daytime, but some of them are open all night, so it depends. If you are thinking of freedom camping in New Zealand, I would definitely recommend getting one of these camping apps. I think there's like 2 or 3 of them. I believe one is called Campermate, and it may or may not also be good in Australia. I can't remember. But it basically shows you what's around, the free ones, the pay ones, the slightly more expensive ones. And it also gives you information about some of the local attractions and businesses, which I assume is how they make their money because it's a free app. So you get all this information about like restaurants and stuff that you probably don't need, but that's on there. So that's really good in terms of finding sort of like spots that people are happy for you to camp at. The big thing with freedom camping is 2 things. The first one is to actually go to the spots that are like designated for freedom camping. If local New Zealanders see an RV or a camper van in a random spot, they get really upset about it. Even if it's not on private property, even if it's just like way off the road, not bothering anyone, they have this whole thing about it. And yeah, when I first got here, there was a bunch of articles about how basically people were freedom camping without being self-contained. So this self-contained thing is the other big thing with freedom camping, meaning that you have your own toilet in the camper van or RV or bus or whatever it is. Because I guess there's a big problem with people just like defecating in random places. Because a lot of these sites are near or in the middle of like walking trails, and so people will go down the trails and like take a poo, and then the local people aren't happy about that. That's the main problem. So it's quite interesting because I think in Canada, RVing or camping or camper vanning is such a common thing, and maybe we just have so much more space that I don't think any local Canadian would be offended if they saw a camper van in a random spot anywhere. Like, they wouldn't go out of their way to be angry about whoever it is just camping somewhere. But New Zealanders get very upset about it. So just be aware if you're going to freedom camp and you don't want to be around 200 other RVs all crammed into one little spot, which is what a lot of these sites end up being, especially in the high season. You probably get local militants come by and tell you off, even though it's not their job to do it, but like people feel like they have the right to be upset at tourists for being in the not paying for a campsite, basically. Yeah, so it's a weird, interesting sort of maybe cultural thing. I think it just has to do with more like people in New Zealand get really possessive or like defensive of their like little communities. So right now I'm in Tutukaka, which is near Whangarei in the Northland. And even though I've been here for like a month and a half now, it's like you can definitely tell that the people who are like local community members are all sort of like looking after each other and keeping an eye out and making sure that the foreigners and the tourists and the non-local New Zealanders are like being kept in check, and they are on a different sort of level. So yeah, so it must be just like a, I don't know, sort of New Zealand cultural thing to keep in mind. And the other thing about the whole self-contained thing is there's these little blue stickers that come with vehicles that have toilets on board. And if you do buy one of these portable porta potty horrible things, it comes with one of these blue stickers. And I think people have figured this out. Because I think the cheapest one is maybe like $40 or $50. So I think what a lot of people are doing is buying these little porta potties, putting the sticker on the van, and then not using the porta potties because they're disgusting. So I think the locals have figured that out, and when they see like a smaller van that probably doesn't have a toilet, even though it has the sticker, they get like real funny about it, and in certain places they'll demand to inspect the inside of your vehicle to make sure you do actually have a toilet. So when I was on the Karihari Peninsula in Rangiputa, some of my friends were staying at one of the Freedom Camp spots there, and every night there was locals coming around checking every individual vehicle, not just for the sticker, but also to look inside the vehicle to see if they had toilets. So this is like a thing that happens. And to be aware of, and if you're gonna freedom camp, there's probably gonna be nosy locals all in your business at least once or twice a day throughout the night. Yeah, it's just a sort of thing that they've done, and a lot of them aren't even paid. They're just, yeah, that's just what they do. That's just what's gonna happen. So they'll probably be like really authoritative and like trying to act like they own the area because they live there. But almost all of them are not like any government agent or like officially being paid to do any of that. They just are doing it. So it's just like a thing that happens. So yeah, that's my thing about freedom camping in New Zealand. If you do want to do freedom camping in Canada, you will not get hassled probably at all, as long as you're not on someone's private property, and I'm sure people would appreciate it if you didn't leave garbage and feces everywhere. But if you don't have your own toilet, you just like sort of walk into the forest a bit and like do your business and maybe like cover it up a bit. You know, bring a shovel, dig a small hole or something. Don't just leave it in the middle of the road. Definitely pooing in the middle of the road is a no-no, and apparently some certain tourists do that here in New Zealand, and then that makes them think that every single camper van is going to do that, which is probably not the case. Anyways, if you end up freedom camping in New Zealand, that's some things to think about. The apps are really good to look for spots where you are allowed, and if you do have a vehicle that has a toilet on board, that is the best solution to not getting hassled as much by the locals. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you have a good day, and I will see you soon. Peace.